if I can. Let's lay that down.
Sure.
That you would never know by painting how it's going to turn out unless you had the hand of experience.
Exactly, and look here, the red color is turning blue. So it's also deceiving, in other words. As you can see, red here is turning to the color turquoise.
Oh, right, yeah, this is red.
And
this
it becomes turquoise, yeah. So
the blue's a much different color.
Yes.
And this red here is a sort of a light pink.
Yes, it is, and that's what makes the IZNIK color so unique.
All in all, it takes nearly 10 weeks for a tile to be completed. That may sound like a long time, but it pales in comparison to the centuries-long lifetime any IZNIK tile is expected to have.
When we return, exciting modern uses for this classic art.
That's next on The Genuine Article.
I think that, as with the purchase of any type of art, you should buy something that you sort of fall in love with, that you could live with, that has a kind of mystery or appeal that engages you. That's number one. Then, if you're a bit of a connoisseur or trying to understand more about this art form, I would certainly recommend buying a piece where colors are as crisp, as bright as possible. The quality of the work tends to vary, but there are pieces of ceramic ware that one comes across in Turkey that might not be painted or drawn with great refinement, but there's a kind of color sensibility there that might attract someone. I would have to say, really go with what you love and research this art form.
Welcome back. Now that we've seen the long struggle that it took to mimic the centuries-old IZNIK tile creation process, it's truly amazing to see how far the foundation has come in just under 10 years. With the rediscovery of the art of IZNIK tile came a flood of interest in orders from around the world.
You've done the Istanbul subway system.
Subway systems, yes.
Unbelievable. You've done some of the most important buildings in Turkey.
Yes, we did banks, corporations, government buildings, mosques, restaurants.
You said that although you try and make it perfect, what is it they say in Islam?
In Islam, perfection only belongs to God. So imperfection also gives it the uniqueness. Every time you look at it, it's not the same.
And just like the palaces of yesterday, the retail palaces of today look to IZNIK to give them beauty and color. The new shopping mecca of the Middle East, Dubai, has commissioned IZNIK to create a huge 3-part mural for its latest shopping center.
So this is a return to the kind of thing that you did for palaces. Is this for a palace?
No, it's not, but again, it's for a major project in Dubai. And this is actually the 3rd panel. And the first one is being installed right now in Dubai as we speak.
So kings are still ordering your
yes,
product?
Yes, in those countries, royal family is in charge of everything pretty much.
Now, you've laid it out as a mosaic here because why?
Because it's very important for us to see before the actual cooking process if all the joints are well adjusted.
To make sure that everything matches.
Exactly, everything matches. Because once it's cooked, it's over. There's no way we can do any kind of modification or change on it.
What happens if you send a huge mural out and in shipment, let's say one of them breaks?
Well, actually what we do is we replace it with the original one, but there is also a risk of the color not matching the other one. Because every time it comes out from the oven, we don't really know what color or how it's going to come out.
If it doesn't match, what do you have to do?
Well, do it again until it matches.
But it's hard to find imperfections in these works, which extend not only to tiles, but to beautiful vases and dinnerware.
The foundation is not only recreating tiles, which can be purchased as individual artworks or can be commissioned for architectural purposes, but they're making vases, bowls, plates that are in the traditional styles of IZNIK ware.
Unfortunately, with all this new interest, there are people who are passing off imitation tile and ceramics. a costly mistake for people who aren't certain where their purchase is coming from.
Unfortunately, in IZNIK, people are using regular-based tiles and they're putting IZNIK patterns on it and they're selling them as IZNIK tiles. It's simply fraud for me. You know, people don't realize that just because it has an IZNIK design on it. What they will do is they'll use 50% quartz, 45% quartz. Only the IZNIK foundation tiles are certified 85% quartz.
And how do you know it's an IZNIK foundation tile?
There should be a logo on the back.
I see. So that logo
Yes.
tells you it comes from the foundation.
Yes.
Which means that everything about this tile
Is
is
original.
made like the original.
Yes, it is.
And the others just have the same designs, but they're
Exactly.
like fake Prada.
Yes.
If I'm looking at the surface of this tile, it's a beautiful smooth glaze on top of the design.
Yes.
Do I see that in the fakes?
No, the fakes have only one layer of glaze. Ours have double glaze. We actually painted on the top of the glaze and put another layer of glaze on top. And that's why the colors are so exquisite and shiny and bright.
And they stay that way, as we've seen at Top Copy for
Exactly.
hundreds of years.
Hundreds of years. And the others, maybe they'll last 5 years, if lucky, 10 years.
Really?
Yes. Again, you know, you can really see the quality of an item throughout time.
Coming up on the Genuine Article, why there's no such thing as a second-rate IZNIK tile. Welcome back. IZNIK tiles have stood the test of time for centuries, which is why the IZNIK Foundation, in their recreation of this lost art, have made sure that there is no such thing as a second-rate tile.
There is a very high rate of loss with the production of IZNIK. In firing, in creating objects, it's a very, very difficult material to mold or to cast.
When you bake the tiles, how many do you lose in the process of baking?
Almost 50%.
50%.
Yes, 50%.
So you can make this and 50% of it won't even get out of the oven.
Sure. Or we'll have to do the whole thing again. Because like I said, if half of it is not well done, and then there's no point of replacing it, you might as well make a new one. It will be easier.
But in normal tile production, you lose maybe 2 or 5%.
Yes.
Why are you losing 50%?
Because we're working with quartz material, and as I said, quartz is a semi-precious stone, which is very hard to work with.
So every time you make a tile, there's a 50-50 chance that after all the work
Yes.
that everyone's put into it, it'll end up on the scrap heap.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And so that means that our costs double immediately.
Is it the same for those beautiful pots too, and those other plates?
Yes, it is.
So that woman is working for days and days
Days and
and
it might not come out right, and all it's gonna go is
She must be heartbroken.
Yeah, well, it's part of the process, and it's part of life, really.
Well, it teaches you something, doesn't it?
Yes.
Patience.
No one argues that there is a big price to be paid for such a fragile work of art. Factored into the cost is not just the time it takes, but the high rate of lost production due to their unique fragility. If your only priority is to create a stunning decorative statement, then there are few mediums in the world that can compare with the artisans of IZNIK. But that price is still a king's ransom. But if you're looking for trademark IZNIK craftsmanship in a more modern and portable form, there are beautifully created vases and bowls and dining sets at a far lower cost. And if all you want is a swatch of Turkish culture, a single tile is a unique memento.
There are very few objects that could possibly capture the exotic mix of this beautiful country. But the tiles from IZNIK come about as close as you can. Thanks for joining us. Hope to see you again next time on The Genuine Article.
Find more at fineliving.com. Real information for real people.